Hello everybody, welcome to Hustling the Highside. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of our races, behind the scenes footage, in the race shop footage, and different tech tips like we're going to do today. So today I want to share with you 5 different tools that we use to vlog at the racetrack. So number 1, you need to have a camera of some sort to capture all of the behind the scenes footage. So this can be your iPhone. Mandy Pouch actually only uses her iPhone for the behind the scenes footage. It can be a GoPro. I currently am using the GoPro 11 to film this right now, and that's what I use to capture all of the behind the scenes footage at the racetrack. I really like the GoPro 11 because it has the little, the camera on the other side so you can see yourself as you film, which is really nice. I also have a camera. So I have the Sony A7 II, which is a really nice camera. I am a photographer first. That's why I have a really nice camera. You do not need this in order to start vlogging. This is not a necessity. I like to take pictures. So I take pictures at the racetrack too sometimes for all of our different social media channels and just for our own memory books. This camera also captures really great footage of the cars racing at night, so it's pretty great in low light. So I sometimes will add some of that into our vlogs so you can see more of the actual like racing rather than just the GoPro footage. But again, this is not a necessity. You can do everything I do with this with your iPhone or with a GoPro. But again, I like to have all the gadgets. I also use a camera for personal reasons too, so that's why I have that. So number 2, your accessories for said camera device that you're going to be using to film the behind the scenes footage. So I love this tripod from GoPro. I hook the GoPro right up to this and it can extend and it also can pull out. So it makes it super convenient. I'll put it on the tire when we're unloading cars. That way I can capture us doing that. Or if there's like a random pit stop or something, I can set this up so it can catch us doing what we need to do to get the guys back on the track. So I love this. This is one of my favorite handheld tripods that I have bought so far. Another thing that I have been using recently is this to make the audio sound better. The only problem is you need to make sure that it is hooked up to the audio on the GoPro, because if it is not, then you will not get any audio. And that's happened like 2 or 3 times now. It randomly started working one night, the night that Walt won actually. So I was really happy that it captured like the victory lane speech and the post-race interview and all of that. So you always need to make sure that it is actually capturing the audio, and you can see the little green audio playback on the GoPro when it is hooked up correctly. You can also hook up a light to this. I have a light on top of the GoPro right now, so this footage is a little bit better, but you can hook that right up to that too. So if you're doing post-race interviews, you can put that on so you can actually see the guys. I don't think I have used that much this year because usually by the end of the night we want to get home, so I don't put it on. So number 3, you need to have good mounts to put the GoPros on the race cars. So this is currently our favorite mount that we use. It is the High Octane 3D mount. So you just use a hose clamp on the back of it and you put it around the cage wherever you choose. It isn't flexible, so this mount works really, really well for a dirt modified because there's a perfect place to put it in the cage and like right by the driver's head. That's where we put it. This mount does not work great with ACT late models. I've tried it. The roll bars are a little bit bigger in those cars, so it just doesn't work as great. But love this for the dirt modifieds. The footage is really, really stable. This doesn't move all around, which is nice. This is the mount that I use for the late models. Someone recommended it to me, and this is what we actually have on the 77 that races down at Legion right now. So I need to order more of these high octane mounts. That way our footage is a little bit better. With this one, the roll bar doesn't fit just right in it, so the footage is a little bit shakier because it's not hooked onto the roll bar as tightly. Number 4, you need to have a lot of different GoPros if you're going to be vlogging at the racetrack. GoPros to go in the race car. So we have 3 Hero 7s, I believe they are, and the batteries last pretty well in these, which is why I prefer them over the newer GoPros. The newer GoPros batteries don't always last, so these ones do, which is really nice, and I haven't had many issues with them. And they're cheaper than the new ones. So whatever GoPro you have, as long as it has a decent battery life and it has a SD card that holds at least 64, if not 128 gigabytes. I prefer the 128 in case we don't get to delete the previous races on them. That'll keep all of your footage for the night. We also have this little square one, which I can't remember what GoPro this is, but this one works great too. It's super simple. Like, you don't see anything on it. You literally just press the power button and it starts recording. It's simple. You really can't mess it up, which is nice. The only problem is you can't see how full the SD card is on it. So you need to make sure that during the week or before you get to the racetrack that you clear it off. Because a couple weeks ago I did not. I thought it was fine and it wasn't. So it didn't capture some of the footage. So these GoPros run a little bit cheaper too, and they work just as well. So another thing about this GoPro though is that it won't capture like the miles per hour that the car goes. So if you're looking for that feature, then I wouldn't recommend this. Last but not least, you need a computer. So I prefer to use a laptop. That way I can take it with me wherever I go. I can upload footage. I can check out footage if need be. I know you can watch GoPro footage right from the GoPros, but sometimes it's nice to look at it on a larger screen. So you can do that if you have a laptop. I also have a MacBook rather than a PC because I prefer to use Final Cut Pro, but you can most certainly start and be successful with any other video editing software and computer. Before I bought a MacBook and started with Final Cut Pro, I had Adobe Premiere Elements, which was great. It's affordable. I think it was like maybe $50 or $100 to be able to use that software. So that works great. I know a lot of other people use different software too, and their videos come out great. So it's really what you prefer to use. If you're going to use something, I would start with it, stick with it for a while, because it takes a long time to learn these different editing softwares. There we have it. There are 5 different tools that we use at the racetrack to help us vlog. And chances are you probably already have some of these tools too, so you can start vlogging as well. If you have any other questions, want to know anything else about how to start a channel, how to get everyone on board, how to show up on YouTube like we do every weekend, feel free to ask us any questions that you might have. And if you want us to go more in detail about anything that I mentioned today, definitely comment that as well. Thank you again for watching. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on everything. And a thank you to all of our sponsors: Akabe, CJ's Auto Body, ADW Builders, Walt Hammond Build and Design, Kayanicki Janitorial Floor Maintenance, Mira Lake Automotive, and Woodworks Tree Removal. We couldn't do everything that we do on the week-to-week basis without all of our great sponsors, without all of our great support from all of you watching this. So thank you, and stay tuned for our next video.